Opened the hearings on the Watergate break-in, and President Nixon later left office, the first president to do so under such circumstances. Now, the Nixon version of the Watergate affair is at the book stands. Roger Sharp sampled some of the backlash.
The Nixon book hit the stands on Mother's Day 2 weeks ago.
If the hero of San Clemente sells a book, he gonna rake in plenty, and I don't think that he should steal anymore.
As the memoirs debuted, so did a media campaign to boycott the book. This new song is the latest part of that. We invited the Merle Outrage Band up from Washington to give us a preview.
Sing it. Boycott the memoirs, don't buy books by crooks. If you read the time, you don't need to get suckered again.
The boycott blitz of ads, posters, bumper stickers, and T-shirts was inspired by two young Washington men, Tom Flanagan and Bill Borland. They put up $40,000. They claim they're not in it to make money, but to shave the profits for the former president. Still, Mr. Nixon stands to make at least $2 million as a guarantee for hardcover and paperback sales.
If a thing is ugly, you should not look, and you shouldn't give money to a man who's a crook. So for God's sake, please don't buy a gall darn book.
The Nixon book, of course, is just the latest in a whole stack of Watergate-inspired books. More than 36 of them already, another half a dozen or so yet to come. We just can't get enough of the Watergate crowd. Or they certainly intend to get enough from us.
Boycott the memoirs, boycott the books. Books by crooks are full of crooked lies and cheats and sin.
The book sells for $20. A leather-bound autograph copy goes for $250. Publishers Grosset and Dunlap claim the original printing has been up to 300,000 copies. And they say the book is selling good everywhere except the Northeast. We certainly didn't find many buyers in local stores, where the Nixon book is strategically placed near some other current titles by booksellers obviously sympathetic to the boycott. Some say it should be put on the fiction shelf.
Ken, how is the Nixon book doing?
Well, it's had a strange history. It started off doing quite well, actually, in the store. We sold probably 50 copies in the first week and a half, and right now it's kind of turning a corner. I'm not quite sure which way it's going to go from here.
I heard all I ever wanted to hear about it. I just want to forget about it.
You don't want to spend $20 to read his version of it?
I won't spend a read about it. No, it's not a question of money at all. It's just a question of disinterest.
You read it?
No.
Intend to buy it?
I absolutely don't.
No interest at all?
Absolutely none.
I haven't read it. I'm interested in it. I'm not sure whether I'll buy it.
Newsweek reports the Boston bookstore sold only 4 copies of the Nixon book, and one of those was brought back by a man who said his family wouldn't let him bring it into the house.
Not worth $20. Am interested, and I'll get it out of the library.
It was, of course, just 5 years ago that the Senate Watergate Committee began the hearings which eventually brought down the Nixon presidency. With so much on public record and so many other principals writing books, there is nothing really new or spectacular in the Nixon story. He says he considered the Watergate break-in largely as a public relations problem.
Including the index, the book has 1,120 pages. Perhaps Mr. Nixon should have left 18 and a half of the pages blank, but he apparently didn't think of that. However, someone else in Washington has well remembered the famous gap, currently running ads in the New York Times and other newspapers selling a cassette tape of the 18-and-a-half-minute gap.
The 18-and-a-half-minute gap.
My suspicion is that we'll continue to sell a small and consistent number of copies for the next month and a half, and then it will probably disappear into the annals of literary history.
Even if Mr. Nixon does not succeed in becoming a bestseller, he's proven once again that he can very quickly provoke passions, the old passions. The man who once said, "You won't have me to kick around anymore," seems intent on being remembered, noticed, and I guess kicked. Roger Sharp, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Boycott the memoirs, don't buy books by crooks. Boycott the memoirs.